Welcome back to Just You and Me. I'm Donna.
And I am Adam. What
How
is,
are you?
just enjoying my day in sunny Southern California.
It's a beautiful day.
Dude, I know that August is coming in September where it's going to be hell in the San Fernando Valley. Like the heat's going to be so terrible, but right now it's beautiful. I love it.
We're allowed to complain when, like, literally there's a massive heat wave going around the country right now. Did you hear about that?
Yes, I did hear about that.
And
But
we've had the most phenomenal summer here in LA.
it's true, but you say I'm not allowed to complain. Do you know me? Have we met?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I complain all the time, and I'm always.
It's your middle name.
Yes, it is.
Well, I mean, we can add a lot of names for you.
That's true.
Adam, stomach issues, complainer, napper.
Is this all hyphenated?
It could be hyphenated. It could be just commas. Like,
What
I
is
don't know.
what is your middle name?
I don't have one.
You don't have one?
Mm-mm.
Is this an Israeli thing
I think so.
Huh. So your sister doesn't have one either?
She got one.
Okay, hold on. Is it a Jewish firstborn Israeli thing? Like, why would she get one and you did not get one?
I think my mom was just going through a tough time in life when I was born. I have no idea. Like, I literally got screwed in so many ways. Number one, my name is pronounced Dana and
I know.
spelled Dana.
Yeah, good job on that one.
The amount of hate I get for that is wild. Like, it would be one thing if I just got confusion, because that's normal, you know? I get legitimate hate for
Why?
it. Well, I go live every day on YouTube, and then I go live on a lot of other people's platforms. So I see live comments rolling in. And most of the people on my show now know, but whenever I go live on someone else's show that doesn't know me, they legitimately get mad. Why are you not Dana? Why are you Donna spelled Dana? This is so crazy. Why are you upsetting, like gaslighting us? Why do you get I'm like, I don't understand. Why do we have to get punished for the way that we were born? It's out of my control. I mean, I could change my name, but why do I have to carry that burden? I was born this way.
I know. It's I'm guessing growing up and every time somebody saw your name, it was never pronounced Donna when people were calling your name.
And it's interesting because I find myself doing this more and more, and I don't know if you do this, and it's actually really sad. But I find myself, because I used to always say, well, it's Israeli, you know? Why are you Donna spelled Dana? Oh, it's Israeli. It's the Israeli pronunciation. And I find myself in the last few months hesitant to just throw that out there to strangers. So I was in Chicago over the weekend, and I was spending my time. I wore my Magen David the whole time, on the flight, in the restaurants, wherever I went. I never felt weird about it. I did notice at TSA at LAX, definitely the person who did my security, it was a woman, but I noticed that she like looked at it. Like, I got eye contact on that star, but she was so kind to me. Like, I didn't find that it ruined any interaction.
Okay.
But like, I got eye contact on the star a few times in different places, but it didn't change people's like moods or attitudes. Which was good. But I was also in Chicago. It wasn't like I was in some Hicksville, like USA, right? I was in like a fairly diverse city. But Chicago is also like a pretty Jewish. There's a big Jewish population, I would imagine, in Chicago.
I mean, just major metropolitan. Our good friend Dave, who we talk about all the time, his family's from there. So
yeah,
it's all Chicago.
Yeah, and I was near actually the Jewish Federation where I was staying, because I was staying right in the financial district. So you know what they say about the Jews and the money.
Oh, they're next to the financial district. Makes sense.
Yeah,
right there.
We're just loaded, all of us, every single one of us. That's what they say, right?
Going back to your Magen David, I had this incident yesterday. Actually, nothing happened, but it crosses my mind. So, I get an infusion every 8 weeks for my
with Judaism.
Yes, no, for medication for my ulcerative colitis and more Jew disease, because this is who I am. And the infusion happens on my left arm, and I have this in my left arm, right? So anytime somebody,
why do you put your middle finger to it?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Don't point it with your middle finger.
Oh, good Lord. You're so judgy.
Well, Foot Guy would not be happy about
That's the
that.
guy with none. All right, there it is on my non-existent muscle
So
again.
for those people that
Um,
are listening, he has a
but
Jewish star, a Magen David tattooed on his arm.
yes, on my left arm. And so that's where I usually get blood drawn or my infusion. So whoever doing it, whatever nurse is doing it, has to get close to that. So like yesterday, same thing. I was getting my infusion, and this woman, the nurse, was giving me the infusion. I always get nervous now when they do that because they get. I mean, they're right up against it, and they obviously see it. Thankfully, nothing happened, but I get a little scared that something may happen from nothing violent, but like they may treat me differently, or they may do something with my files, and whatever they may do something that would because they're anti-Semitic or against Israel or any of that stuff. So I always have that feeling in the back of my head whenever I get blood drawn or I get my infusion. It's again, none of this stuff happened before October 7th. Never even thought about that, and now I have to think about it all the time.
Of course. No, I got blood drawn last week and I thought about it too because I was wearing like a workout top and my Jewish star was fully out in the open and the woman that was taking my blood was, definitely not Jewish, I would imagine. I don't know, but she was like a Hispanic young woman. I was assuming that she probably wasn't. And my dog is really dying for my attention at this moment. And I thought the same thing. I'm like, Jesus, I'm like trusting her to put a needle in my arm to take 8 vials of blood out. Like, let's hope that she's okay with us. You hear too many stories of, these people that have these social media accounts on the side while they're also doctors, you
Yeah.
know?
Remember that
So,
story in Australia that happened like maybe last
sure.
year? Those two nurses that were saying they wouldn't treat Jews. Like it's that's what goes through your mind. You don't. It's probably not going to happen to us. Like
It's
obviously,
rare. It's
it's very
rare,
rare.
but also like you imagine that most people listen, I would imagine that most people you run into in the world are good, and then there's always going to be someone out there that presents as being like a loving person but has a racist bone in them, an anti-Semitic bone, hates Asians, hates Hispanics, homophobic, etc. Like there's always going to be people out there that are really hateful but present fine, but have to run into them in their normal day-to-day work environment. Like what you're telling me, every single Uber driver likes all people of all kinds, but they get in their car. It's not just Jews, The only thing about Jewish hate is that it's very pronounced and it's very aggressive right now. It's like
Yes,
aggressive hate.
it is, and it's more of like when you see a black person, they're black. When you see a Hispanic person, they're Hispanic. When you see a Jew, you don't honestly know they're Jew until something kind of reveals itself, like either a
Mhm,
last name or a Magen David or any
mhm.
of that. So it's like they go from 0 to 60 real quick because they realize, oh, now I got to deal with a Jew.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I took the risk, and I did it, and I didn't even think about it half the time. But I was with someone. One of the guys that I was with on the trip is Israeli, like born in LA, but two Israeli parents. I think very much like me in that sense. But he uh, he talks about it very openly normally. Like I've spent time with him. He's a manager of one of the people I was with, so he's a talent manager. He works here in LA and he talks about it. I've spent time with him before in months prior, and he's always said, like, I'm Israeli, I'm Israeli, I'm Israeli. Like he throws it out very easily. And on this trip, I noticed he said, I'm Middle Eastern.
Really?
Yeah, like 2 times. And one time I said, like, well, you're Israeli. And he was like, yeah. And I thought to myself, holy shit, like we are literally hiding. Like I'm not saying I'm Israeli when I'm talking about my name.
Yeah.
He's saying I'm Middle Eastern. Like it's a subconscious thing that you notice that you have to kind of like slowly bring it down. I also noticed that I was getting my hair done the other day and I was talking about sleepaway camp with the kids. To my hairdresser has a son that's pretty much Dylan's age. Like they went to the same preschool. And she was saying that he doesn't do sleepaway camp. And I was saying how um, I think it's so good. They make so many friends. She goes, yeah, I went to Camp Ramah when I was a kid. Because she grew up probably like near you, like out there in Northridge area or somewhere out there.
Out there.
Well, like Deep Valley.
Yes.
And so I said, and she goes, I'm still really close with my friends from growing up. I wish he was into sleepaway camp about her own son. And I said, yeah, when I went, and we were getting our hair, I was getting my hair washed, right? So I was laying kind of, that feeling when you're laying back in the sinks. So there was like four different women
Oh God. Okay.
and there was four people washing, and then there's like assistants and other people. So I don't really know who's around me. Lots of people, and you're speaking loudly because like the hair is getting washed.
Yeah, a lot of sound going on with the faucet.
And like, yes, you kind of have to speak up. And I was laying there and I wanted to say that when I went abroad to Israel when I was 16 and met you and Dave, like I'm still very close with you guys. And I stopped and I didn't say Israel. I was like, yeah, when I went abroad when I was 16. Isn't that fucked up? Like I'm like I'm scared to say the word Israel. Like this is crazy.
Yeah, and I remember, and I have this very vivid memory of it was probably at either the end of October 2023 or the beginning of November. Just a few weeks after October 7th, and I was in Palm Springs for a wedding. And staying, it was one of the women that I used to work with was getting married, and I was with a bunch of other coworkers and former coworkers, staying at a hotel in Palm Springs, and we needed to take an Uber to the venue. And I specifically remember, I mean, all the people I work with and my friends, they all know I'm Jewish. Fine. And I don't remember the exact conversation, but we were in the Uber, and this is the first time I had felt this way, was we were talking about either, what we were doing over break or like talking about the holidays. And I remember not wanting to mention anything about Judaism and Hanukkah because I don't know what the Uber driver is going to be like. I don't know what type of personality this person is. I don't know what kind of thoughts are going through this person's head. And it made me feel like shit. I'm like, I've never been shy about being Jewish, or at least in a conversation that, just a normal conversation, talking about the holidays or talking about this and that and mentioning being Jewish. I remember not saying a word about it because I'm like, I don't know what this person driving five of us in this car is thinking. And it
I
made me
know.
really sad. It really did.
I know. It's so wild. It's a
I
really strange like thing because here I am on my show talking about it, no problem. If everyone knows that I'm Jewish,
Right.
but I guess that's in my own space. It's in control. It's online. It doesn't feel like so real life experience, like where someone could just turn around and say like, I have a gun, or like, God forbid, like something horrible. Look, people are crazy right now. There's no doubt, I mean, and it makes sense. It makes sense to be a little bit hesitant because people's reactions to things in real life right now are really, really intense, obviously. I mean, I think actually people on social media, I think, are a little more intense than in real life, but we're seeing left and right, like things that are happening in real life that are
Yes.
similar and mirroring what's happening online. But like, okay, let's talk about Regina Spektor.
Okay. Let's.
So there's so many things to talk about, like little things, nothing like crazy. But Regina Spektor, who I actually always liked her music, but I don't listen regularly. But
Right.
now I want to support her even more
I mean,
because
I posted today that I'm going to be streaming her all day because of.
yeah.
Because of
So Regina Spektor is a singer. She's like a songwriter singer type of artist, but she had that really big. Um, what was her big hit? Do you remember the
I don't
name of
remember the
it?
song. No, I don't.
It was I feel like it was one of those songs that was, like, always on the radio when it was on, I'm just gonna look at what it was called because I feel like it was one of those songs that everyone would know.
There's one song called Two Birds. Another one. I'm looking at like her popular songs.
Do you know well, you know this one on the radio, but do you actually wanna know the best Regina Spektor cover ever? Do you know Hamilton? Like, okay, listen to this. I actually have this on my favorites,
Okay.
and I listen to this all the time. Tell me if you recognize it. Isn't it so nice?
When did you record this?
There's a Hamilton like remix
Like
album.
a bunch of artists got together and did a bunch of songs. That's pretty cool.
It's
Are you gonna
it's
cry?
Regina and Ben Folds 5.
Oh, love Ben Folds. Love Ben Folds.
I've listened to this song a million times in the car and like cried. It's so beautiful. But anyway, that's her vibe. She's got like a very sweet, like, anyway, she has had some hits and she has these, she's on tour. She's a Russian Jew.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. She came here when she was young, clearly. We just found this out. But this video went viral. I'll pull it up so we can watch it. This video went viral over the weekend. She was on tour. Now, I've known that she's been a very strong advocate for the Jewish people since October 7th. And I don't even know if it's necessarily for Israel as much as it has been for anti-Semitism. Maybe for Israel too, but definitely
I
for anti-Semitism.
and I
What were you
haven't
saying?
heard I haven't heard anything about this. So this is great. I'm glad I'm hearing this. This makes me want to listen to her even more. I wish I knew this before.
You didn't know that she was this way?
No, I didn't. I didn't see. Apparently, she didn't fall into my feed, or I haven't been able. I haven't. No one sent me anything. So I'm glad I'm hearing this, though.
I knew it because I would always see her comments. Like I follow her, so I would always see her comments in really like, people you follow always come up early in comments. Anyway, so here it is. The Jewish Chronicle and a couple other people have posted. Uh, it's kind of all over a lot of these Jewish accounts, but she was in San Francisco, I want to say, over the weekend. I think I don't know where she was actually, and she's sitting at her piano, and it's a calm show. It's not like a very loud show, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, to a Jewish performer,
Mm-hmm.
a freaking heckler. Why they're there, I don't know. Is it just to do this? Probably. Pays money to go yell free Palestine. Here's the video. And I'll explain after, or we'll explain after, because it's maybe hard to understand what's happening if you're only listening. But they start yelling free Palestine.
By the way,
It gives me chills.
it was in Portland, Maine,
Portland.
actually, not Portland, Oregon, Portland, Maine. So it was on the
Well, I
other
was
side.
like Portland, Oregon
I know.
tracks.
I should point out it's Portland, Maine. So yeah.
Can I tell you the words that she says? I came from a country where being a Jew, like you were, what was the what was the other? You were othered as a Jew.
Yeah.
Something like you
I'm
were
not sure.
treated.
Yeah.
Jews were treated as others, and now I'm being othered here, which sucks. That gives me such chills in a negative way. I mean, I'm not like, oh, I could cry over it. Like, number one, there is nothing more unnerving to be yelled at free Palestine as a Jewish person, especially, and I say this positively as someone that has had this happen to me while on stage, while on a live YouTube, while doing something, in a public setting. It's one thing if you get a comment that says free Palestine. That happens all the time. I mean, I've blocked them out already, It happens all the time. But when you're live in public and someone just yells free Palestine, what are you supposed to do with that? You're yelling at a Jew, she says. You're just yelling at a Jew.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, she knows. She's like, this isn't a comment section, or I thought this wasn't a comment section, which is pretty brilliant on her part, because she's realizing that this bullshit that we see, bots and all these things that mention free Palestine, anytime anything Jewish is posted, doesn't even have to do with anything with Israel. And now it's coming to life. You're right. It's completely different than being in a comment section and reading that shit, and then performing live and doing that. And I think
so vulnerable.
Right. And I think she handled it very, very well. The best she could possibly do, because she doesn't seem like the type of human being who is extremely confrontational. She's not dealing with a ton of people. She's not aggressive in any which way. So for her to at least have this microphone and be able to kind of shut this person down was great. And it was also great to hear people in the audience support her and yell different things promoting Israel. But what you will usually not see is someone who is pro-Israel going to a concert and yelling that at somebody who is pro-Palestinian. It's always this way. It's always they become very aggressive and they start yelling at people, and it's obnoxious and it's horrifying.
Also, say it. Say it. They're yelling at her.
Right? Yes, they're like they
What?
need her to say it because it's like the whole. It's like what's her face? Fucking Miss Rachel. Sorry, Jesus. I'm trying,
God.
but it's the same thing, right? She doesn't want to now. She now does not want to work with people who do not acknowledge and basically say, not to these words, but basically fuck Israel. She doesn't want to work with these people anymore. So this is the same type of rhetoric. If you're not going to say it, I'm not going to support you.
Let that be a blessing to anyone that doesn't say it, that they don't have to work with Miss Rachel.
Why she is such. She brings me such pain and such anger when she does that shit. The fake fucking crying.
She's a sick person, like
She,
actual sick person.
I really hope that she is making a ton of fucking money off of this.
Of course she is. What do you mean?
I know. I'm just saying. I'm hope fucking Qatar is paying her a shit ton of money to spew all this shit because it is horrifying. She should at least get something out of it.
I don't understand how Netflix and CAA and them are allowing it.
Is CAA the CAA representative?
Yeah. I just don't. And Jewish agents. She has Jewish agents.
Yeah. I mean,
well, they're making money. It's money.
They are making money. And she makes a shit ton. I mean, you go to Target and there's entire end caps that are all dedicated to Miss Laura. Miss Rachel. I don't know, Miss Laura. Miss Rachel. I know.
She's a Jewish name.
I know, and that aggravates me even more.
She's Jewish. Didn't you say that she's like half Jewish or something?
Someone told me. I have to figure. I think she's part Jewish. There's some Jewish blood in there, which I'm sure Hitler would have been fine because she's speaking up against Jews.
Yeah, he would have been like, "Great, you can pass. Right. You don't have even though you have a J on your paperwork, you're speaking against them. So come on in." Speaking of, this reminds me. Oh my God, I'm not done with it yet. I still have about 30 minutes left because we were so tired last night. The Billy Joel second part documentary.
I didn't watch it yet. I need like a good
Adam.
I need a good time to watch it.
You don't have to finish it all in one sitting.
I know. I should just get onto it. I know.
It's 2.5 hours. You have to split it up into two nights.
I know.
Okay, so last week we talked about the first part. This one really dives deep. This first hour of it dives deep into his father and his relationship with his father, which then really explains his background and his Judaism and his history of his dad's history and how his dad was raised and how his grandfather was so wealthy and had a fabric company. I'm not really spoiling anything, but his grandfather, and they have all this footage too, which is really cool. His grandfather had a fabric company in Germany. They were in Germany, the Joel family. They had this amazing, insanely successful fabric company. Okay. And I can't remember what it was called, something Joel. I can't remember the first name. And they had tons of employees, a huge factory, right? Where they were living in a gorgeous, huge home right off of a park. And they were living happily. They were living successful and they were living the life. And then Hitler comes to power. And this is his dad was 10 years old. And the park that their home overlooked was the park that they started to have all those rallies. those huge rallies with Hitler. So all of these rallies where everyone's doing Heil Hitler and yelling about our blood is the blood that, everyone needs to have, and kill all the Jews, etc.
Yes, the Sidney Sweeney argument. Yes.
Just wait. We'll get in that. I want to talk about that. Is he's 10 years old looking out the window of his beautiful home, seeing them talk about wanting to kill him and his family, right? This is before it's like not allowed to be Jewish. It's still okay to be Jewish. They're just threatening that they
Yeah.
want to kill them. Okay?
Sounds familiar. Mm-hmm.
Scary. But they're still like living in wealth and they feel like everything's still okay. It's just like that scary people, but everything's fine. And then slowly, slowly, the rights get taken away, right? No Jews allowed, no Jews allowed, no Jews allowed. And then the boy, 10 years old, his dad, all of a sudden now can't be at this part of the park, now can't hang with this group of friends, now can't be in this classroom with his other, now can't go to school. And then the grandfather, all of a sudden, his very successful company stops getting business because he's a Jewish business. And then the company, the Nickerman or whatever the company, I forget the name of the last name, ends up coming to him and offering to buy his business from him and offers him nothing, pennies to his insanely expensive, worth money business. But he couldn't do anything about it because he realized we don't have any other choice. He sells him his business. They get out of there, luckily alive, obviously. But this is the craziest part. The company that made the striped pajamas was his own fabric, the Joel fabric. But coming from obviously the Nazi owned company. Can you imagine? It's such a crazy story. And then he found all of this out later when he ended up connecting with his dad. You will be so emotional watching this later. He found out that a lot of his family died in Auschwitz.
Yep. Not surprising.
So when I saw that story last night with Billy Joel and his like strength about being Jewish, he wore like a very important after the Charlottesville,
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah, Charlotte.
The
It was
white
before
supremacists.
2021, but yes.
You remember when they were walking around, the white supremacists, the crazy Proud
Yeah, no,
Boys, when
that
they
was
were
before 2021. That was during Trump's during his first thing. It was,
maybe 19 or something.
yes, 2019, 2018, something like that.
Yeah, because it was before COVID. It was before, yeah. He went on stage at Madison Square Garden with like a big yellow Jewish star on the front and the back of him. It was like a Holocaust yellow Jewish star. And he was like, I'll never not be proud to be Jewish.
There you go.
Oh my God. I was like, that's it. Like,
Culmination right there.
I was like, I will love Billy Joel until the day I die.
Good. Listen to it, stream it next time he comes. If he comes again, see him.
The way I love this man because of this moment.
I know. That's
like,
great.
That's all it takes. Just like support us.
I know. And not only support us, but be loud about it and talk about it and say something genuine about it. It sucks that, he had to go through all of that and understand all of that to really be able to express his feelings. I feel like, I'm at this point between, have you ever been to a concentration camp? Have you seen one before?
Never.
I mean, I always say there's two things that kind of change.
You went to Poland? You like did the whole thing?
Yeah. So one of my jobs, I had to go to Poland, and I was working with some people out there, and we had to go to a city called Wrocław. And there's like 3 W's in there. I don't even know how that.
I don't know where they found their way in, but okay.
They're somewhere in there. And it's like, I don't know, it's like an hour or so flight from Warsaw. So it's relatively close. But so I was there for, we had an extra day before I had to start my meetings. So my boss at the time was also Jewish. He's Sephardic, so different, different upbringing than me, but obviously has that same connection to Judaism. So we decided we should see if we can find a way to get to Auschwitz, because it is actually closer to Wrocław than it is to Warsaw. And it's probably about, I don't know, hour and a half drive. So we did the hour and a half drive. We hired a tour guide, did the whole thing. I can't even express to you how my brain changed after that. Growing up Jewish, and especially going to Hebrew school, and being surrounded by a lot of Jews in my life. We hear about the Holocaust all the time. I mean, I must have seen Schindler's List like 15 times at this point, because I feel like every year in Hebrew school we watched it for whatever reason. And although that movie is extremely sad, you do not understand until you step on those train tracks, and you go and you see that there were two camps. There was a camp that was a POW camp before the war started, and they started placing all the Jews there. And they're like, you know what? This isn't big enough. We need to create something bigger and worse for the Jews to be in. So then they created another camp just down the road that was enormous. And it's kind of like, you see those train tracks. If you've seen Schindler's List, there's these famous train tracks of where the train would enter right before unloading all of the Jews in the quote unquote cattle cars. And once you see that in person, and then you start hearing the stories, like very detailed stories of what they did to prisoners, how they were treated, very individual things here and there of stories that people who were liberated shared, hearing about all the experiments that were done on the Jews in those facilities, and then straight up walking through the gas chambers. It is something that will change me forever. There's nothing in my life that I have seen. I've always wanted to see it, because it's something that was, knowing that my grandparents were there, that I could have had 3 uncles that all passed away there. It's something that was extremely powerful for me to see. And I always say that if you, or if anybody, Jewish or not Jewish, they should see that, and they should go if they have the opportunity, because it's very sobering, and it completely changed everything in me. And then fast forward to, I think, 4 years after that, October 7th happened, and all of these thoughts, all of these terrible nightmarish visions flooded back to me from what I had seen just visiting a very empty Auschwitz, but hearing the stories and seeing visuals and understanding what my grandparents went through. The fact that October 7th was a mini version of that, where the entire point was to kill as many Jews as possible, which is exactly what Auschwitz was there for, was to kill as many Jews as possible. It altered my brain even more. And it's it took me a year and a half to come to you, Donna, and say, maybe we should do this podcast and talk about this stuff. Because I didn't know how to internalize and deal with my feelings and talk about it. But that's why I came to you, and that's why I like doing this. Is, yes, we talk about fun shit, but we also talk about the serious stuff. Mm-hmm. And having these experiences and seeing everything flash on TV from October 7th, it completely it changes you. And this is why, Jews are so connected to Israel. They're so connected, because if you liberated before the war, or even right after the war, people escaped Europe, and a lot of people needed to land in Israel because that's where they felt safe and that's where they
Hmm.
felt to be close to as many Jewish people as possible in that holy land.
Hmm.
Um, this is why it's so important for us to support Israel and to make sure it still lives on. And as we always say, we can criticize the government, but the country, the state of Israel, is so important that it will go through its ups and downs, but it's still there and it's going to be there because we need it to be there. So that's
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously, that was a wonderful monologue. Did you rehearse that?
no, but my throat is breaking up a little bit. Maybe I got a little emotional there too.
I could hear it. I could hear it.
Thank you. Thank you. I did not rehearse.
Um, I'll give you a call back. I'll call
Thank you.
you back
Oh,
for a
good. I get to
second
come back.
audition.
Sweet.
Um, so no, I get you 100%. I mean, I could only imagine. I would love to go there, and I will make it a point at some point in my life to go. I mean, luckily, it's there for us to see, and it's important. I think for sure. I uh, I think that at the end of the day, I did have a little bit of a realization in these last couple days. I always kind of go up and down here where like I go through days where I'm like, I feel strong and like I don't care about what people say about us. And then I go through days where I'm like, it's too much. Like it feels overwhelming. And then and it goes up and down, it depends on like your mood and who you've seen. But there's this great follow on Instagram, and I sent him to you guys this morning. I sent him to you and Dave.
Mm,
I love this guy. I
yes.
love this guy. And I think every single Jew or non Jew, anyone that cares about Jews or Israel or just wants to have a little bit or just believes in like the moral clarity of what we're looking at here. Because I believe that at this point, we're probably not going to change anyone else's mind. Like, here's the thing most people have made up their mind. It's the people that don't really know a lot about what's going on. Those are the people that you want to talk to. If you've already decided in your mind, Israel bad, Israel genocide, Israel terrorist, Israel, then like bye. Like you're already far gone. You already drank the Candace Owens juice. You know what I mean? But if
Mm-hmm.
you are questioning things and you're not really sure what you believe, and maybe you question the media, like because the media lies to us about everything else, why wouldn't they lie to us about this?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you question, the voices or like the anger that comes from the Free Palestine voices a lot, versus like maybe you think about a lot of people that speak up for Israel that are really intelligent. Why would they continue to speak up for Israel if Israel's so bad? That's what I always look at. I'm like, I would always think about who continues to speak up for Israel. These are really intelligent people. Like, why are they continuing to speak up for what is quote unquote a genocidal terrorist state?
It comes down to education. Like it comes down to, and what's this guy's name? He's the moderate.
The moderate, I'm going to pull him up right now for
Yeah.
everyone to
What's
watch, but
his?
he is the moderate case, I want to say, and he is I've actually DM'd with him. He keeps himself fairly anonymous. He doesn't share his name, and he doesn't even share where he lives, and the reason I know that is because he was looking for he's starting a YouTube channel, and he was looking for help with buying a camera, and I DM'd him and I was like, "Are you here in LA? Because I could help you with my husband who has cameras." And he was like, "Well, it depends. I don't really like to share anything about me because I think he gets a lot of hate."
I'm sure he does.
But he's 21. He is the typical person that would get 100% swindled into the Gen Z I
That
hate
age,
Israel.
right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he
And
sees things clearly.
and this is why I say it's all about education because he is extremely smart, and I am much older than this person. We're not going to say how
Mhm.
old I am, but I'm much older than this person, and he knows more about this than either of us. He has this and it's like when we chatted with Daniel Spalding. He's very educated as well, but this guy does it in a different way, and I find it very interesting.
Yeah. He's not emotional. He's
No,
not comedic. He's just facts. And he's 21 or 22. He's got 70,000 followers on Instagram. He's also on TikTok, and now he's starting a YouTube channel. Follow him. He's the moderate case. But this, he says a lot of facts. And by the way, he's been made fun of by Candace Owens already on his channel, which he means something if he's been made fun of by her. And he goes through a lot of things. He talks about like what the haters think and whatever. He talks about all kinds of things. What I really, really think is important is what he said today. And this, I think today's message was like, it was kind of my moment to say, like, we can't fight stupid anymore. Kind of can't fight people that have already made up their mind. This is, I think, one of his smartest messages so far. You ready?
oh yeah,
It's
yep,
so freaking true. Every word.
yeah,
There's no winning with people that already hate us.
I know. And this is what I said. This is what I brought up last time, is that I feel like there's no going back anymore. Like Israel is just going to be hated and hated and hated and hated. This is the worst thing to ever happen to Israel. Not just what happened on October 7th, but everything that's followed the narrative, everything that continues to uh, pretend that Israel's at fault for everything. People that believe it, and there are a lot of people that do, including a lot of countries that are not United States, but out there in Europe and everywhere else,
Mm-hmm.
um, that will always see Israel as the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And this has only made it worse. Imagine that they're the ones that got attacked, and they now on October 7th, and now they will never ever be looked at as a ally country by a lot of these countries. They're the ones that got attacked, and now they're the bad guys.
Because it was already there. It was already
Yeah,
inside of them. This is not new for anyone. It was already inside of them. And this just gave them the fire to let it out. I believe that at the end of the day, at some point, this war is going to end. It's not going to go on forever. At some point, it will end. And slowly, slowly, people will get over this cause and they'll move on to another cause. It's going to take a while, but they'll move on to another cause. My hope, my prayer is that it won't be at the forefront of everyone's mind. Gaza, Israel, Gaza, Israel. Yes, there will always be some people out there that will consistently want to bring up Palestine and Israel and Gaza and Israel and Palestine and Israel and Jews and Israel. But my hope is that, luckily, this TikTok generation does have short term memories and they're like squirrels, right? They find their next cause. Donald Trump and Epstein, this, that, this, whatever. Like, and then another, BLM or this, like something else, like the big cause that they become hardened on.
right.
So we are the cause right now that everyone's obsessed with. We are the thing. And what's happening in Gaza is suffering, is real, and it's tugging at real people's hearts. And I get it. It tugs at my heart. So it's going to tug at anyone's heart. It's not going to be forever. This is going to end at some point. But the thing is, Israel maneuvers the way that most people should be maneuvering through life, which is don't give a fuck about what anyone else thinks of you. Keep working towards Israel doesn't care if people like it or not.
Right. Well, they definitely
Israel
don't
cares
now.
about Israel
Yes.
and making sure Israel is okay. And by Israel, I don't mean the government. It makes sure its people are okay. And
Correct.
it's safe.
Right.
And by proxy, it makes sure Jews are safe. And that's all that matters. So at the end of the day, we can only do so much. We are never going to change people's minds that hate us. We have to keep living. We just have to keep living. What are we going to do?
No,
We
you're
can't
right.
change the minds of people that hate us.
I get that, but you still go through these phases, and you were saying,
Of course, we're
right, where
human.
it's like my this starvation thing kind of came out of nowhere when we were all focusing on ICE and we were focusing on Epstein. It just comes back around. So we've had so much. This happened. October 7th happened almost 2 years ago at this point, and it's still something still brings it back. There's always a story, always something for people to
Of
grab a
course.
hold on to, and jump back into it. So I know you say that it'll disappear, hopefully this and that. I really hope you're right
Well, the war
because
has to end.
yeah, but I understand the war has to end and the war will end. But that doesn't mean that people won't still find different ways to call out Israel in their pretend ways. Now, as you're right, we can't do anything about it, and Israel has to do what Israel has to do to survive. And I completely agree. But with that being said, my brain doesn't always agree with that, where it's like, I'm still going to hear whatever these people are saying that are being negative towards Israel. I'm like, fuck, I got to deal with this shit again. Like, this is still happening. And I really hope all of this, it'll never disappear, but I hope it goes to before October 7th type, rhetoric where there's things, you hear things maybe once a year, but nothing to the extent of what we hear now. I'm just so battered down by all of this. And I feel just constantly depressed with this, where I do have my ups and downs. But like this week for me was definitely a down week with all of the starvation talk and all of this and the whether who's right or who's wrong. Everyone's not everyone, but so many people are going to quickly blame Israel and the Jews. So
Yeah.
I really hope you're right when it comes to this because I don't know how much my mental state can deal with this anymore.
Of course. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I get it. I get it. But at the same time, like, no country is perfect and no war is perfect and no operation is perfect. I will never not support Israel.
Yep. Agreed.
What even if Israel has struggled in this war and has done things wrong, my at the end of the day, that country has my back. Like my back has or whatever. Like I
You
have that
have the
country's
country's
back.
back.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, what am I supposed to do? That's just like, but also I have America's back. Also,
Yeah,
like,
of course.
America's never going to lose my support, no matter what it does wrong. And it does a shit ton wrong. But I'm never not going to support America.
I know.
You think I support everything Trump does? You think I supported everything the past administration does? You think I support everything the police force does or the everything our local government does? Fuck no. I don't support anything anyone does. I always support America. I proudly celebrated July 4th. I would carry a flag with me right now. I love America. I will always support Israel. What am I not going to support Israel and support jihad because of a blockade of food because a country that attacked us? Like I'm sorry, this is psycho. Like Israel, I love Israel because Israel is my homeland. America is also my homeland. These two countries always got Donna's back, or Donna's
Geez,
got
you
their
can't get
back.
this one right. You
Whatever.
have their
I
back.
am me with them. Ani mishpacha, ani ve'Israel,
There's the accent.
Israel ve'Dana.
Can I bring up one more thing before we
Yes,
end?
you can, Adam Neuman.
The best thing just happened.
In
You
life,
well, life-ish. UCLA just agreed to pay $6 million
to
to
Donna Bowling.
no, sorry. Uh, Basically, it was a agreement settled out of court. There were a bunch of people who were suing UCLA
For
after
everything that happened last year?
for everything that happened last year, for being held back and being not being able for Jews not to be able to enter
The library.
classes, whatever it was, just for being Jewish. They were agreed $6 million, but most of that is actually going to Jewish causes over the next 15 years, which is awesome. I love that they spread it out because honestly, let's continue the donations.
That's
And it's
amazing.
interesting reading into it. It's just like I kind of had flashbacks to all this, and it's so ridiculous to see like it brought me back to when we taught when like last year when I think it was Ilian Omar who basically said that oh, they could have went in different ways to get to their classes. They could have taken different
What a
routes. Plenty
disgusting
of different
woman.
things. There's plenty of different ways to go through. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, if this happened to your people, you would be up in fucking arms that they were not let through because of the color of their skin or the religion that they have. Um, so it is, and what's even better is that like even UCLA tried to fight this as much as possible instead of just giving into it. It really showed their true colors that they were still fighting, saying, "Oh no, they could have gone different routes, or they weren't holding them back. They couldn't." Well, what ended up happening today is they came to this agreement of $6 million. So I'm very happy. I mean,
That's awesome.
I hate UCLA for a multitude
Yeah.
of reasons, but mostly because I went to USC. So I'm glad to see UCLA suffer in any particular way. So this is a win in many ways for me.
Yeah, that's amazing. Oh my God, I'm so excited about
Yeah,
that. That really makes me happy.
made me happy too. That's why I
That's
wanted to bring it
awesome.
up.
That's great. Also, finally, the last little hot button topic that we have to touch on before we end is Sydney Sweeney and the fake, insane outrage. Not fake, they're real because people are crying on TikTok over her being a Nazi. Can you believe that people think Sydney Sweeney and American Eagle are being fascist and Nazis because she's blonde with blue eyes and the ad says Sydney Sweeney has great genes?
Can I believe it? Of course I can believe it. Everyone fucking overreacts these days with this kind of shit.
How much do you want to curse on 1 hour
I'm
of a
sorry. I'm
podcast?
sorry. What do you like? What does it matter to you anyway? We're
Well,
a
we're on
what are we, a
YouTube.
family. Oh, is that it? Okay, fair enough.
I will say, this is psychotic behavior. And after watching the Billy Joel thing yesterday and then going on my other show today and showing this ad and seeing the comments and one of the ads of Sydney Sweeney, because there's like on American Eagle's Instagram, they have like at least 9 or 10 little like posts about it dedicated to the ad campaign. And they range from just either pictures, videos, different things. One of them is Sydney Sweeney rolling like up the billboard on a like a card, not like on a wood
Yeah, yeah.
thing.
Hmm.
That's all. It's just her rolling it on. And the comment is like, wow, we're basically in 1930s Germany. The way I literally was like, I despise these people. Because if you call everyone a Nazi, then no one's a Nazi.
It loses all of its meaning. It completely loses its meaning. And like everybody's a Nazi today. Everyone, Israel, Trump, now Sydney Sweeney.
I get called a Nazi.
I know.
Jews are Nazis.
You
And
know
the
what's
people, the same people that are calling for Nazis are the ones that are like screaming at Jews. Like this is make it make sense. Like the same people that are calling Nazis are calling for the destruction of Israel.
yeah, it doesn't make sense. You can't make it make sense because it makes no sense.
What is a Nazi anymore? Is there a definition of a Nazi?
Yes, it's Hitler and everybody else who wants to kill Jews. By the way,
So Sydney Sweeney wants to kill Jews?
no. But you know what's interesting? The CEO of American Eagle is Jewish. So
I
I'm sure
know. This
I'm
is
sure
psychotic
why would
behavior.
he want something to run or have an issue? Why would he want something to run that says everybody needs to be blonde haired and blue eyed?
People don't like white people anymore.
It's
Like
true.
it's really true. You
It's
can't be white.
no, and you definitely can't be pretty and white.
It's pretty she has pretty privilege.
She, I mean,
I
pretty
think Sydney
people.
Sweeney's hot.
Listen, you know how I feel about Sydney. She
But a
is
lot of people don't think she's that hot. I'm like, she's gorgeous.
no. A lot of people are trying to. They're trying. What's the word I'm looking for? They're trying to contradict everything. They just want to be that person who says no, she's not pretty because
Yeah.
she's the hot thing right now. She's the one that's like, she's been in so much stuff and she's like thought she's just, she's like Hansel from Zoolander. She's so hot right now. So it's
But the last final thing about it is I just find it so interesting that for the last however many years, everything that is on TV And I say this from a casting perspective because when I left casting, every single thing that we had to cast, this is not even being like, this is not sarcastic, this is serious. We had to fill out a diversity spreadsheet and we had to check off boxes for how much diversity we had in every episode of every cast. Like how many Black people, how many Asian people, how many, and it was like you had to fill a quota of
Right.
diversity for casting, meaning we didn't have to hire the best actor for the role. We had to hire the right amount of diversity for each role. It was literally DEI type of, for actors. So for modeling, for actors, for talent, for everything, they instill diversity. So the one time you get a white person, it's like it's you can't.
And bringing this back to being Jewish, part of the reason that Israel and Jews are getting so much hate right now is because this other part of the narrative is that Jews are white supremacists. They're all
Even though
white,
there's so many Black Jews.
of course, but we are that saying that people hate white people now or being white is not cool is the same thing right now with what Jews are going through, because Jews are looked at as a whole as being white, where we obviously know if you go to Israel and see all the Jews that live in Israel, it is not close to it. I
I don't
dropped
know.
I dropped my daughter off at that Jewish sleepaway camp, and the amount of different races that were there, all
Of course.
Jewish,
Yeah.
was crazy. So the again, mental gymnastics, it's crazy. You have to, and it's like they're trying to find something wrong with everything.
Totally.
Anyway,
Well, thanks guys for another fun week on Just You and Me. I say fun because we actually did have a little fun
it's
today,
good.
but
It's good.
we covered a bunch of topics. Thank you for subscribing and being here, leaving comments and leaving a review. All right, you
Yes.
guys, we'll see you next week on Just You and Me.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.